Okay, so good day, guys. I will be doing in this video lecture Unit 1. There are three lessons under Unit 1. Okay, so basically, the theme for Unit 1 has to do with LCT, so Learner-Centered Teaching, Foundations and Characteristics. So remember that our course has to do with facilitating learner-centered teaching. Okay, so you might be asking yourselves, why is there a need of this particular course in your curriculum as future teachers? Well, the reason is very obvious. Okay, because as future teachers, whether you like it or not, you will be um, facilitating uh, the learning process. Okay, because ideally, that should be your role as teachers. Okay, so as teachers, you don't do all the discussion, or we don't actually indoctrinate in a manner that as if we monopolize the learning process. So we always have to adhere unto the principle of the bipolarity of the learning process, meaning to say that there should be that it should be a shared responsibility, that students should share in the responsibility, particularly when we talk about the learning process. Okay, so there might be other practical reasons why it is included. Basically, as I mentioned, the primordial reason, I guess, is that um, you are soon to be facilitators of learning, and as such, you have to learn the basic principles, and you have to understand actually the methods, no, which you could make use of when you become teachers, or when you become licensed professional teachers. So as for this unit, we have these three objectives. So what are these objectives? Of course, we are to do more on the basics, no? But we have to understand the basic concepts, like what is learner-centered teaching, what is learner-centered learning, okay? What are the dimensions? In lesson 3, we will be learning about the dimensions of learner-centered teaching, and with the hope that we do away from the traditional method, which is the teacher-centered approach. So there should be, upon learning the concepts and the principles in Unit 1, you should have in mind how is it for you as future teachers to do paradigm shifting, no, from the traditional to a more democratic uh, learning environment, to a more uh, to learning ambience where uh, learners have embraces their responsibility as, or their role as learners in the learning process. Okay, so as for the activity, I think I had given this to you in your face-to-face class. So we were able to process the same. I'm just actually redoing the the slides. No, I mean, I am re-lecturing and rediscussing rather those slides which we were able to cover during the face-to-face class, so that we would be able to capture, no, these, no, in this lecture. Okay, so as for lesson 1, um, we have LCT, definition and characteristics. So these are our specific objectives. We have to understand the nature and the characteristics of LCT, and demonstrate this understanding based on the philosophies that we will be discussing in the subsequent slides, and how could we integrate research, current researches, and apply, these in actual teaching and learning. Okay, so I think I also had made emphasis on this slide in our face-to-face class. Okay, so the real scenario in our educational sector with regard the role of assessment. Okay, so remember that we are in a bureaucratic country, and so whether we like it or not, we still rely on numbers, on documents, no? And that is why in the educational sector, there is the role of assessment is very vital. Okay, but even in terms of assessment, there had been what do you call this, um there must be a consideration of the learner-centered approach. Okay, so in such a way, if we are to look onto this slide, no, we we could see the text, no, um, given this diversity of learners. Sabihin na lang nating learners sila, no? Although of course, given these creatures, differences as to these creatures, no? We cannot impose the same assessment, um, taking into account their differences when it comes to skills. You cannot ask a snake, for example, or a crocodile, or a fish, for example, no, to what to climb a tree, no. Although a snake can do that, no, but the elephant, given its size, or a fish, for example, given the very fact that it cannot walk but it only swims, no, um, you cannot take that as a gauge of what it is capable of doing. Okay? So, it says here that in a classroom setting, or even if we look into um, this context, no, generally, no, we are all capable of doing something. We have different skills and aptitudes, and we cannot be judged by a single ability, no, like if I am to read the text in the slide, it says here everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its full life believing that it is stupid. So no less than the genius himself, Albert Einstein, have uttered these very words, meaning to say that we have to recognize. I think that is the one of the dictum of LCT, that we have to recognize the differences in terms of skills and abilities of learners. That is if we want really to help them, no, attain maximum learning. Okay, and so it now gives us the thought of asking this question. So, what is learner-centered learning? um, how could we create an environment that is characterized of this, what we call LCT? And in an LCT, what is the role of the teacher? On the other hand, what is the role of the learner? Okay, so what methods or activities could you do in order to promote LCT? Okay, so these are the very questions that could be answered, no, in this unit. So the question, therefore, as to what is LCT, I think we had laboriously discussed this in our face-to-face class. And I would just like to reiterate, no, that LCT refers to a wide variety of educational approaches, learning experiences, instructional approaches, and academic support strategies that are intended to address the distinct learning needs, interests, aspirations, or cultural backgrounds of individual students and group of students. Okay. So, masyadong mahaba, masyadong technical yung mga words na ginamit. Technical ba, no? I mean, these are words that we, of course, in professional education, these are words which are common, right? So when we talk of learner-centered learning, um, we bring in the concept of educational approach. So, what is the strategy that is used by the teacher to engage the learners? What sort of learning experiences that are made available to students, no? So as for teachers to introduce concepts in class, no? And in the same manner, so this would also refer unto the approaches, instructional approaches used by teachers, no? So that the very bottom line is, how can we address the diversity of the learners in terms of the needs, no, their differences as to needs, as to interest, and the very fact that they came from different cultural backgrounds and cultural backgrounds, no, different backgrounds in general, no. So, um, is there a need for the teacher, for example, to modify the medium of instruction? Oh. In the Philippines, we say that the medium of instruction is ano ba, Tagalog o English, no? So in higher education, most probably the medium of instruction is English. Ngem no straight met ti English mo, ta han na ka mauawatan ti estudyante mon, ket masapol met nga ag mother tongue ka sagpaminsan. 'Di ba? Isu nga rod nga no daduma addamit ti teachers nga ag Ilocano, ngampe daduma metawit, nya. Mali nga straight nga English. O no daduma mataglish kunna, nya. What for is this, no? Is it for merely for the convenience of the teacher? No. It is for enable that for the purpose that the teacher would be um uh could easily relate to or connect with students. Okay? So for teachers to easily communicate, no, the lesson to the students. Okay? So the subsequent slides would be an enumeration of the different meanings or definitions of learner-centered learning. But these all mean the same. Okay? So what it just focused onto when we talk of learner-centered, no, from the word itself, learner-centered, our foci here is the student. Our focus, our foci are the students. Okay? So as to um where it is anchored, no, in terms of philosophical perspective, it is actually grounded on the constructivist learning theory. Okay? Pagdating natin ng lesson 2, babanggitin ulit natin si constructivism. Okay? Pero kung maalala ninyo, um, there are theorists who espoused constructivism. If you have heard about John Piaget, no? So si John Piaget, although ang kanyang theory ay cognitive, no? In fact, his theory is a stage theory, cognitive stages of cognitive development, but his premise on his development of the cognitive theory is constructivist, no, perspective. Okay? So ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng constructivism? That in the learning process, the the learner is not a passive one, no? The learner enters the learning environment with a pre-existing schema. No? Meron na tayong alam. No? Pagpasok natin, halimbawa ng college, hindi tayo zero knowledge. Meron tayong mga baon na kaalaman na natutunan natin from our senior or from our junior high school. Okay? So, what is done in the learning process is we tend to accommodate, assimilate, no? Naalala ninyo yung accommodation and assimilation concepts ni John Piaget. Okay? And how are we able to do accommodation and assimilation, no? So, we have the prior knowledge when there are new information that is shared to us, we actually we actually weigh how how um how possible is it for us to embrace this new information and add it up to our prior knowledge, no? So kung sa tingin natin ay makakadagdag, makakasubstantiate ito sa ating prior knowledge, then we add it up. Pero kung sa tingin natin yung prior knowledge natin ay hindi na applicable at kailangan na nating i-discard, kailangan nating tanggalin para mag-give way sa bagong information, then we do it. No? In fact, if you recall, my example was during our elementary days, we have learned that Pluto is one of the planets in the solar system. But because of new discovery or new researches, no, which actually remove Pluto from the known or from the planets, no, of the solar system, no, then we what we our prior knowledge about the different planets that compose the solar system is therefore modified, removing Pluto from our schema of solar system and embracing the idea that it's no longer a planet. Okay? So that is what is happening every day. We might not be so cautious of it, but we construct no meaning from the information that we receive inside the class or even in the school setting. Okay? Or even as brought about by our experiences. Okay, so we are not passive learners because it's us who actually construct meaning and gives interpretation to what we learn. Okay? So the role therefore of the teacher is someone as a guide, directing our path or making our unifying rather our schema in a manner that this is how we should understand this material, for example, or this learning content, for example. Okay? So, marami siyang mga pinagsasabi diyan, pero yun lang po yung point niya. Okay? So, the learning environment supports positive interactions, definitely. So, in a learner-centered learning, um, the learner is given somewhat freedom, no? And um or control rather in the learning process, no? As to what, for instance, later as we discuss the subsequent slides, you'll come to know which among these do learners are free of or are in control of when it comes to the learning process. Okay? And there is a perpetuation of a positive learning environment where the learner feels appreciated, feels that he is acknowledged, and respected and validated. So, parang nasa limelight na siya talaga yung focus ng learning process. At meron siyang parang there is an acceptance of the responsibility of the learner. Okay? What else? Learner-centered learning. I think this is continuation of that, or is it the same? No, it's not. Learner-centered instruction focuses on skills and practices that enable lifelong learning and independent problem solving. So I think this is the very advantage of a learner-centered environment. That is, you are um, conditioning the learner to become an independent learner. So you're teaching the learner how is it to learn. Okay, kaya nga yung concept ng metacognition kasama din dito sa inaaral natin. Okay? So when you do so, you are not only teaching the person to receive information, but you're at the same time teaching the person um, which among these perhaps could he utilize, no, in order for him or her to become an effective learner. Okay, and hence um, later on in life, you may not always be there as a teacher, but the learning that this student was able to ingest from you is still there, and that he is able to use or apply it in real life scenarios or situations he may encounter. Okay? So, LC, learner-centered learning is also known as learner-centered education. Okay? So, ano pa ba ang mga characteristics ng learner-centered learning? So, in a learner-centered environment, basically, as we kept on mentioning, the focus is the student. Okay? So we do away from the traditional teacher-centered environment, of which it's the teacher who does everything. No? So we are putting the student at the center of the learning process. While it's true that teachers must know more, no? Teachers don't have the monopoly of knowledge. I think nabanggit ko ito sa inyo sa face-to-face natin. Okay? If you are a teacher, the assumption is that you should know more than your students, especially when you're talking about your field of specialization. Okay? So, maski ikidikidam mo yan, no, yung pergoan is psychology. Siyempre, that is my field. So, I could somewhat respond, or I could somewhat discuss, no, uh, in any matter regarding psychology. Ganon din kayo. No, pag pinag-usapan ang MAPE, dahil yan ang major nyo, natural, you could also speak more about your field of specialization. Okay? But you see, as a teacher, we don't have the monopoly of knowledge. Hindi ibig sabihin na lahat ay alam mo. So, sa learning environment, maaaring meron ding alam ang estudyante na hindi alam ng guro. No? Kaya nga yung bipolarity, that it must be bidirectional. Meaning to say that both the teachers and the students are responsible of the learning process. Because possibilities are, there are information which the students may know and the teachers may not know, and vice versa. Okay? Kasi sa traditional teacher-centered, parang ang marunong lang at ang may alam lang ay ang guro. Pero in a learner-centered environment, or LCT na sinatawag natin, ah, there is what do you call this? There is a bipolarity, meaning to say both are engaged, are involved actively in the learning teaching learning process. Okay? Now, in an LCT, okay, the shift is from the teacher to the learners. So it emphasizes what the learners do as against what the teacher does. So it's more of how could the teacher facilitate learning in a manner that students are able to grasp what is taught in class uh, by themselves, no? So independent learning nga, you're teaching them how to be independent learners. Okay? So it's not much on what I do as a teacher, but on what you do as learners. Okay? So it focuses on skills like lifelong learning, creative thinking, problem solving. What else? Now, what is the reason why uh, as future educators or as pre-service teachers, why is there a need for you to know about LCT or at least to have the skill of facilitating learner-centered teaching? Okay? So remember that there is a need for us to produce um, learners who are not mere recipients of information or of knowledge, but learners who possess um, tawag diyan, yung millennial learning skills, sabi nga nila, no? So what are these? That learners must be critical thinkers, solvers, and creative thinkers. Okay? So there is a need for learners to comprehend learning content and not merely to memorize learning content, no? Although kung titingnan natin, 'di ba, may mga Western educational philosophies, if you happen to um, hear about learner-centered educational philosophies and teacher-centered educational philosophies. Mapag-aaralan ninyo later on na merong mga usually ang mga Western educational philosophies learner-centered, no? At ang mga Eastern naman, no? Eastern civilization, no? Eastern world, no? Ang kanilang mga educational philosophies ay teacher-centered, no? So, what we do as well, we belong into the Eastern world, no? The Philippines belong unto the Eastern world. And yun nga, while we advocate a learner-centered approach, no? Still yung bureaucracy na yung kahit nga sa board exam, 'di ba? Meron pa ring mga objective type of assessment, like we ask questions like who is the ano ba, may recent uh, because of the recent tawag diyan, board exam, there were points that were taken down by our program chair. And meron pa ring mga tanong, mga guys, na patungkol sa yung objective type of questions. Like, uh, wait lang. Siguro I could share it to you. Medyo naglalag ang internet. I'm not sure if this video is doing fine. Okay? But anyway, yun nga, yung who is the father of psychology? Halimbawa lang yan, mga objective and low level, um, low level thinking, ang kaniyang kumbaga parang it provokes low level thinking skills, no? More on root memory lang. Okay? But in learner centered, uh, it says here that we should go beyond. We should do more of the root learning. Okay? But what we advocate is deep learning. You see, oh, deep learning. Okay. Um, we wanted learners who improve from mere memorization to learners who are able to um, uh, freely express their idea of a concept, not based on how it was defined by the book, but based on their own thought of the concept in relation to what they've read. Okay? So they acquire critical thinking, they have positive attitude toward the courses that they have, and there is long-term retention. Kasi all the more that concepts are retained if they embrace their role in the learning process, meaning to say they go beyond, they go deeper than what is presented in the book, or than what is in the learning content. Okay, so in relation to this, perhaps I pose this question, no? Could you recall the best class you had ever had? I think I had asked you this in your face-to-face class, no? So, the class in which you feel confident, where it is characterized by atmosphere, what particular learning atmosphere do you think this class have, no? Which made you believe that it's the best class ever that you've had, no? So perhaps what you try to reflect onto these questions as to who does what in your class, no? So who chooses the topic, who chooses the activity? Well, remember that since we are bound by what's in the syllabus, teachers neither have the freedom to choose the topic, no? Because in the curriculum, although of course we have the freedom to um, choose what we are supposed to include in the syllabus as based on course description laid down by the CHED, no? Especially if there are no available syllabi in that particular course. So ang nangyayari kasi ay sa tertiary, sa higher ed, ang ginagamit namin ay syllabus, hindi lesson plan. Okay? So, yung syllabus, ginagawa namin yon, ina-update namin at tinitingnan namin kung ano yung mga kailangang include base sa course description na binibigay ng CHED. Okay? Now, wala rin kaming masyadong control doon. Kasi once na nasa syllabus na, no, ay hindi namin pwedeng piliin kung ano yung i-discuss sa inyo. We have to discuss it because definitely it will form part of the the concepts that will be measured through your let, no? Especially kung board course yon. Okay? So the only thing we are given the discretion is as to how do we deliver. Paano namin siya i-discuss sa inyo, anong mga activities ang pwede namin ibigay. That is where the freedom or the control is given to us. Now, in a learner-centered teaching environment, we don't actually have I mean, we give at least control or freedom to you as to manner of doing the task. Um, but as to whether you do the task or not, syempre hindi pwedeng hindi, 'di ba? So, kung ano yung nasa syllabus at kailangang ibigay, lalong-lalo na kung meron ng module, ano, kasi doon sa module nakalagay na doon kung anong activity ang ibibigay sa estudyante. So, ang pwede na lang natin gawin, ang pwede na lang gawin ng teacher para maging learner-centered approach, lalong-lalo na kung learner-centered approach ang kanyang ini-embrace na pedagogy. ay paano, ah, the teacher gives you control over how you do the task, no? So, like say for example, you come up with this output, but there can be diversity as to how you could come up, no? So say for instance, ang lesson natin is about education. So your understanding of what education is. So halimbawa yun yung task that you have to present in class your thought about what education is. I will not limit you on what on how you present it, no? So it may not solely be through what? Through giving your thoughts about it, but it may be through the form of arts siguro. Pwede kayong gumawa ng jingle, pwede kayong gumawa ng tawag diyan, ng visuals, no? Slogan or ano ba yung isa, art, any art that would capture your point of view of what education is. So nandun yung task that is for you to share in class your concept or your point of view of what education is. But as to the manner of doing it, you can present it in a diverse way. So LCT pa rin siya. I mean, learner-centered pa rin yung approach niya. Okay? What else? So, who asked questions? Of course, you might have observed that in your higher education classes, uh, it's not only the teachers who ask questions. In fact, you are given leeway to ask questions, right? You're given the chance to ask questions, no? So, yan. So, if there are um ano bang tawag diyan? Um, Learning equipments? Ah, is the does the teacher have the only right to make use of the DLP, for example? No, no. So you're also given the chance to present. If you have your laptops with you, you could make use of it or whatever media, no? You could make use of to what? To perhaps present uh, a topic or a discourse. Okay? Now, as to what are the characteristics of learner-centered teaching, I think this is where we ended up in our face-to-face discussion. We have Marilyn Weimer, no, who actually espoused 5 characteristics of LCT. So what are these? First is that LCT engages students in the hard, messy work of learning. So I think you had emphasized this in the previous task that I had given you. So there is engagement, there is involvement of the students in the learning process. No? So sabi nga 'di ba sa pragmatism, if there's a need, for example, if the learners are fond of what? Playing ano na kasi yon yung ano ni Efren Bata Reyes. Ah, ano na kasing tawag dun? Yung sports niya, no? So, if you're fond of billiards, no? If you're fond of billiards, if the learners are fond of billiards, then a teacher who makes use of a learner-centered approach, no, would not care or would not care about bringing the billiards inside the class, no, if that is what it meant, just so for the learners to understand or to grasp or to get engaged in the learning process. Another is LCT includes explicit skill instruction. So I think we have made mention about the different skills that um, are apt or that are to be developed, no, in making use of the LCT or the LC approach. Okay, so yan, being creative, being problem solvers, okay? So, your activities must all be geared towards the development or refinement of these skills. Then we also have LCT encourages students to reflect on what they are learning and how they are learning it. So the concept of metacognition. No, at times we are not so cautious about how we learn or what we actually learn. No, so the only way where we get to be accountable of our learning is when we are so aware of how we learn. No? Paano ka nga ba mas natututo yung bang pagkatuto na 'to, yung pamamaraan ba ng pagkatuto na ito ay, ah, kasama na doon sa sistema mo para masabi mong effective kang learner? Or, usually nag-eeksperimento ka na, this is your strategy and you don't actually you're not consistent with your strategy kaya kung minsan hindi rin consistent yung performance mo. So, alam niyo, when you're able to, realize how you learn or especially if the way or the strategy for you to learn is effective, then you constantly or consistently um make use of this strategy, although there is a diversity of strategy depending on the context, on your context, and depending on the learning content as well, no? So uh the bottom line is you have to be very cautious on whether you're learning or not, no? And um, uh, you have to consider whether such approach or strategy is helping you or not, no? Kasi kung hindi, eh, kailangan mo na siyang i-abandon, 'wag mo nang ah, gawin pa kasi it won't make you an LPT if that's the case. Okay? Another is LCT motivates students by giving them some control over learning processes. So this is what I've been mentioning a while ago, that there are instances in the learning process where you are given freedom or at least a bit of control. Okay? So activities, for example, how you do activities, grouping, for example, are there teachers who would really be giving instructions as to how you should be grouped? No? Kung minsan kasi ano nyo rin, request nyo din, ma'am, ganito na lang. No, we will be grouped as to whom we are comfortable working with. Or ma'am, pwede bang ganito na lang kagrupo kasi unfair. Kapag kasi kami ang pumili, eh, may mga male-left out, no? So still, you're given the chance to decide on matters like this. And that's a manifestation of that freedom or control over learning process. Then LCT also encourages collaboration. So remember that LCT is premise or is grounded from the constructivist. So meron tayong tinatawag na social constructivism. And in social constructivism, it puts emphasis on factors like collaboration, support, or scaffolding from people around us, no, by Lev Vygotsky, if you recall. Okay? So how people around us could be contributory to our learning. Okay? So, well, sabi ko nga, we don't have the monopoly of knowledge. So, the fact remains that others um, who may be involved in the learning process could be of help, no? For us to attain maximum learning. Okay? So here with our enumeration of the characteristics of LCL, learner-centered learning. And I think we have emphasized all of this, no, from the previous slides. Okay. So, how different is teacher-centered to student-centered learning? We will be, or teaching rather, we will be making an enumeration of this again in lesson 2, no? But briefly, no? So we could somewhat say teacher-centered, ito yung traditional. From the word itself, teacher-centered. I think nagawa na natin ito sa previous task din natin. So alam nyo naman na siguro kung ano ang student-centered. But anyway, we will try to differentiate these two approaches and we try to determine which among these approaches are are effective or which among these approaches is more effective, no? Okay? So, ayan. So, somewhat, ito yung synopsis ng pagkakaiba. When it comes to knowledge, teacher transmits, while in student-centered approach, students construct. Okay? So, student participation sa teacher-centered approach, passive. Kasi it's the teacher who does the talking and all. Pag student-centered naman, active, no? There is engagement, there is the students are accountable of the task and of their own learning. The teacher's role is more of a leader or more of an authority sa teacher-centered. Pero sa student-centered, they are more of facilitators or partners. In assessment, the role of assessment is mainly for grading, no? For teacher-centered, but for student-centered, marami at diverse. Hindi lang naman yung ano yan hindi lang yung MCQ ang tinutukoy pag sinabing assessment. Pwedeng yung mga essay nyo, yung mga reflections nyo, yung mga pinapagawa na task sa inyo inside the class. Those are for feedbacking purposes. For the teacher to determine whether you are able to grasp the concept and at the same time for you also to communicate not only to your teachers but also to your classmates your comprehensibility or your understanding of the concepts being taught. Okay? So one-dimensional ang assessment method, no? And learning correct answers daw ang purpose or ang emphasis. Pero sa student-centered, developing deeper understanding. So, yun yung parang mapapayureka kayo. Ano yung eureka? Ganun pa yun. Okay. So, now I understand. No? Sa mga tipong ganun. Okay? So, in teacher-centered approach, the culture or the academic environment is very competitive and individualistic. No? So, para bang um, um, tawag dyan, you are geared towards what? You're geared towards um, knowing, I mean, making good scores. No? Yan, competitive. Making high grades. Samantalang sa student-centered, it's more on collaborative, on whether you've really learned or not, not not just by looking into your grades or your scores. Okay? So yan. Then so the different roles of teachers in LCT, no? So yung first first and second quadrant um that or the first quadrant that would be more of teacher centered approach, no? So yung second quadrant, yan, third and fourth quadrant. Okay. Although, sabi dito teacher-centered ang axis. Upper axis. Yung quadrant 1 and 2, no? And then, the lower one, quadrant 4 and 3 are more of what? More of the learner-centered. Although yung quadrant 2 ay learner-centered din. No? Okay. So, what are some of the methods? Kasi binabanggit natin kanina na instructional methods yung LCT. It's one of the instructional methods. So, these are some of the learner-centered methods. Sabi diyan, ang LCT daw does not employ a single teaching method. So, katulad niyan, may mga instances na nagdi-discuss tayo kasi syempre hindi natin maialis, meron at meron pa rin kasing assessment, no? Pero, yung pagdi-discuss ay hindi lang para do'n sa assessment. Yung pagdi-discuss ay para maunawaan din natin yung mga konsepto. At hindi lang naman discussion ang ginagawa natin. Meron din tayong what? Meron din tayong Q&A, meron din tayong mga reflection task, may mga application task tayo. Okay? So may mga exercises. So ang role ng teacher definitely is not giver but facilitators of learning. Okay? So, in LCT, there is active cooperative learning. Okay, and I'm sure you know what it meant by active and cooperative learning. Nabanggit ko kanina na in LCT, the learners are active learners. They don't just come to class, sit down, listen to what the teacher say for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and then move out of the classroom after the 1 hour and 30 minutes. No? So instead, there are activities that you do. There are tasks that are given to you to which you share and to which you actually get engaged and involved in the learning process. So you also get to brainstorm, you get to think and share with your group mate or with anyone in the class. Okay? Okay, so these are other methods which you could use no, in LCT. Okay? So application. I think you have done this in your in the previous meetings, no? So I will cut it here because what's next is lesson 2. So tapos i-cut ko dito para hindi masyadong mahaba yung video and then I'll make a separate video for lesson 2. So with that, thank you.